Not that I would want one.
Oh, just trying to get through the day, right?
Yep.
You know, what do you mean? Yep.
Questions for you.
Are you trying to say that this day is not important
It's critical. It's critical.
of your life?
We were all wondering about
All?
Robert Hunt. Did he injure his knee, unfortunately, during practice yesterday? And do you expect him to play Sunday?
So we list all ailments, and the good news is he'll be practicing today, and he's going to be good to go. So don't have any issues with that.
Good. And with Connor, this week, uh, did he re-aggravate the groin during Sunday's game or subsequently, which has resulted in him not practicing this week, or have you just opted to rest him this week so that he can play Sunday?
Well, when we made the decision for him to play last week, we knew there'd be residual effects from that, just because that's why we're so overly cautious about soft tissue stuff. And so we expected it to be hurting him, and it has. And so we've been adjusting on the fly, and he won't practice today, but he'll be doing stuff with the trainers, and kind of like our normal process with guys that we don't want to. We need to find out more information, but we don't want to put him through the rigors of the entire practice. So he'll be doing that. We'll assess that, and then make a call on his game day status.
Have you made a decision on Jeff Wilson whether to activate him?
We have one available roster spot right now. Otherwise, we'd have to do moves, and there's kind of a lot of things going on with regard to the entire roster. So we're gonna let Friday play out. This very important practice that's the most important of our lives, and we'll make the call then. But he's certainly he's certainly prepared himself adequately. So if we went that direction, he would be ready to go.
Are Needham and Rob Jones not going to be activated at the time for this game?
So those are the other two, in particular, that we're kind of digesting today and it's really more about the just the whole roster and what the game day active will look like. That has special teams, things that are involved in that has just the overall complexion of everybody. So we'll be making that call here after practice.
How has Rob Jones and McDaniel looked in their second week of practice?
I'm very. I would like to use this opportunity to pump up our training staff and our strength department, because for all intents and purposes, as there's not enough hours in the week for coaches. You are expressing them you're expressing all those hours as best you can, and it generally you have to have enough focus on the guys that are going to be out on the field. So you have guys that are hurt, that are on the team and big parts of it that are around, but you don't quite know what that's going to look like. Both Rob and Nick have looked outstanding as their window is open. So that's a credit to a lot of work and them specifically. Sorry, I got distracted. I love me just a crisp, clean pair of shoes, and your shoes I need to keep my eyes up. You know what I mean? But they look good, and so we're fortunate to have some availability. Yeah, he's. We'll make sure he gets through stretch and practice. He's. I got to tell you, he's the most dangerous player to himself. We have a lot of them, but this he's not used to being injured, so he wanted to play last week, so tripled that down this week, and after that's one of the reasons why there's some stuff up in the air. Is we'll let today progress and see where he's at, and then make a call that will have to be the best thing for him and the team, regardless of what his words say.
Like whenever coaches use the phrase, we need to find out more information, it always kind of raises red flags, not intentionally on your part. Could there be something serious? With regard to Connor, in terms of needing to find out more information, is there a concern that he could have torn his groin and be out multiple weeks, or do you still think?
Oh, okay. So, well, thank you for the qualification of your follow up. That's not of issue. It's not. Did he do something more significant, or do a different type of injury, or make it more severe? This is maintenance of something that we kind of knew the residuals, and it's just that we don't want to. We're at that fine line where we're trying to make sure that we do best and not have it linger all season, knowing that it will be a issue, and how much discomfort and ability is taken away. It's kind of complicated. It's not an easy answer. But as far as the injury being something different that the game presented, no, it's not.
Is center a position? I mean, I know that there's a lot that goes with that position. In fact, talking to Liam, he kind of outlined some things that I did not know about responsibilities.
See, that the mark of a humble man, just out front. I didn't know it, and he taught it to me. I love it.
Is that a position where you can not practice and then play in a game?
No, it all. That's a good question, because that one in particular is very unique, because there's from a physical standpoint, there's not as extreme nuances from game to game on how defenders play. So you're inherently more qualified to do that from a physical standpoint. Then it goes down to mental and the reps at diagnosing the defense and what type of problems that particular scheme has. Because Connor's been so durable, I mean, that's probably the longest tenured player relationship that Tua has, is in regard to playing with somebody directly at their responsibility. So he's a little more qualified in this particular situation relative to, the system has grown with them together. That being said, it's definitely not ideal. I don't think I would have been comfortable in that scenario last year with Connor. I think I would be comfortable with that this year with Connor, and that speaks to him and his development, and the coaches helping him simplify, a very complicated position.
Hopefully this isn't too much in the weeds, but as you talked about Connor, it made me wonder the difference between Connor and Liam, maybe snapping the ball, speed-wise, flow-wise. Does that affect at all maybe the timing of your
No,
offense?
so that's one of the reasons why I was, I meant what I said. Like, there was some really cool stuff that when Liam last got to play a whole game at that position, the first time he's ever done it, there was some really cool stuff. Usually, that's a huge issue. We do a lot of timing. We do a lot of, if you guys hadn't noticed, we motion a lot. That has different cadences and different timing, and we do a lot of movement stuff where if you do, if you're in shotgun and you have an outside zone, like you're snapping it directly behind you and moving that way. So usually it's a huge issue. The fact he was able to execute and really, really master the ability to match the tempo and speed and when you're snapping the ball. Typically with centers, you have a ton of procedural penalties that are like the guard moves at a different time that the tackle moves, those type of procedural penalties. And the fact that's to his credit and why it was impressive to me, because you never know. You think you have an idea, but you never know when someone's thrust into uncharted territory what it's going to look like. And when the bullets are flying, that's what I mean. The game's not too big for him. So we're fortunate that he's able to really allow a lot of players to do their jobs when he's in there.
Mike, this might surprise you, but in the media room, we spend a lot of time perseverating or ruminating about running out of available short-term designated to return IR slots with the team this year. So you have
How do
seven
you
guys.
sleep? That sounds stressful.
All this time spent worrying
That
about
sounds
it.
stressful.
So you have 7 guys at this point who could be brought back from short-term IR. Have you and Chris talked about any concern about getting through the season with enough slots to bring guys back who are not out for the year? Because potentially Craig Kraft and Eric Ezekama at this point would be 6 and 7. You have 5 others who assuredly will return.
Thank you for joining the party. Of course, that's a huge, that's a huge part of the decision-making process that we're very aware of, and that factors into how many players you put on IR, and that was, you do the best thing that you can for the team, knowing all the information. So that's on the front end of those discussions is, okay, well, who's going to potentially be available from a physical standpoint? What implications does that have on the rest of the roster if we didn't put them on IR, or if we do? And then the obvious rules and regulations of the IR system and in present day. So that you don't have concerns with best judgment decisions that are of the appropriate intent and really thought through. So it's definitely on our radar, and so you guys can go back to sleep.
When you
Michael.
guys finalize whether or not to have Claypool active, what will be like 2 things you most seriously discuss?
Really there's a third day of evaluation, which is today, because I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I've been very pleasantly optimistic. He's done an impressive job. We have a very the system that he's going in is very specific. A lot of different words that mean different things, and he's definitely hungry and ready to contribute It just, there's a lot of things in play there in terms of the specific defense and what we actually need in this particular game. But it's really just evaluating that and what he offers to the team, in his current state relative to the other guys, and what roles would those be. So a lot of that intentionally has to be cloudy for competitive purposes.
Mike, in terms.
Hold on, you go for it.
Oh man! Wow, respect. I know a lot of people that are usually in here wouldn't get the same treatment. So.
I appreciate that, sir. Mike, on Jeff Wilson, given what you've seen from him in practice this week, and if he is up, what's realistic as far as a workload that he could manage given the time off?
I think I wouldn't put. It's tricky because with the way that we like to rotate backs to an exact number. I don't think unless we play a 120 play game, that we would be doing anything above 25. But that's kind of our first game back. That's kind of something that's a number we kind of talk about with regard to the medical staff. But again, that's kind of, the exact number is kind of dictated by the play of the guys out there. When you have a lot of skill, and they have every single back we have has attributes that the other doesn't. Every single back we have, I'd honestly be comfortable starting. So, in situations like that, you kind of, I don't know, I'd feel remiss if I'm, deciding, this game, this person's going to be the best. You kind of make sure that they have opportunities early, and then assess how they do. It's not just like, hey, that was a long run. It's like, how are they playing? And that kind of dictates the term. So, if there's a back that we feel that can is really in their zone, we're not going to compromise that to hit a rep count. And so that it can look a lot of different ways. That more often than not, coming out of the game, the rep count, I wouldn't even try to guess what they would be before the game. You have feelings, but I prefer facts, and facts are on the field.
Appreciate you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.